Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Film Posters YouTube channel. If this is your first time watching us, welcome. You're here for some great content. I know you are. So, we're here to talk to you about the unbearable weight of massive talent. Joining me today, I am Film Poser Huang, and this is, of course, Film Poser Josie, Rotten Tomatoes
Hello.
approved critic.
Thank
And
you.
we're here to talk to you about some very important agendas today. If you know me, I am a Nicolas Cage stan. The Cage agenda always lives on with me. And Josie, you are a Pedro Pascal fan, and your agenda is the Pascal agenda.
Amen. Which I think he's like right behind me. Right. He's there.
As he should. What a king. What a king. I don't have a Nicolas Cage Funko yet. Maybe we can get one soon.
W-
Funko.
that should be a thing.
That
I'm
should
sure
be a
it's a
thing.
thing. We need
Absolutely.
one.
Funko. Funko. If you could make it, just send me one as a thank you and I'll be good.
Just make Funko Pops for this movie. This movie
Absolutely.
deserves its Funkos.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of this movie, this film stars, of course, as we mentioned, Nicolas Cage, Pedro Pascal, Tiffany Haddish, Ike Barinholtz. It has a really great cast, and you're probably here wondering, what is it about? I'll tell you. So, creatively unfulfilled and facing financial ruin, Nick Cage must accept a $1 million offer to attend the birthday of a dangerous superfan. Things take a wildly unexpected turn when Cage is recruited by a CIA operative and forced to live up to his own legend, channeling his most iconic and beloved on screen characters in order to save himself and his loved ones. So obviously you can tell this is a very meta film. This is an action comedy. It has a little bit of everything. So what we're gonna do with this review, we're gonna tell you our reactions. We're gonna tell you if it's worth going to or not. And if you're a Cage fan and if you're a Pedro Pascal fan, stay till the end so you can see how good they are in their roles. We have a little ranking right there. So I'm gonna start off by saying I, as a Nicolas Cage fan, was very happy with this film. It's a fantastic love letter to fans of Nicolas Cage's filmography. Like it's chaotically meta. It has something for everyone to enjoy, and of course, something we're gonna get into a little bit later. The bromance between Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal Xavi. It's undeniably charming. It's chef's kiss. It's entertaining, and I will say this film wouldn't work without Nicolas Cage. Like this wouldn't work with any other actor or actress in that role. Nicolas Cage's personality and his career, it's the reason why it works. It lends itself to the film. And because of everything on, the memes on the internet, his filmography and how it has like a huge range of variety, it's hard to find someone in that exact same position who would also take themselves not that seriously to make this work. So I had a blast. Josie, how did it go for you?
I honestly genuinely liked it. I was a bit not disappointed, I was confused because when you go into this film with a certain expectation. I just want to say, let all your expectations go because you think the movie is one thing and then it's another. So for a moment, I was trying to like control what I was watching. Then I just realized I had to let go and just go along for the ride. And once you do that,
Yeah.
it's honestly such a blast. Don't try to find logic to this film because it is very meta and it's not to be taken seriously. It is there for the laughs, it is there for the fun, and it is there for the appreciation of Nicolas Cage. There is a storyline, but honestly, the best parts are in the subtle moments with just Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage when they're just being bros.
Yeah.
And the plot really comes second. It's really about their friendship, and then you get into the whole secret service kind of thing with Tiffany Haddish's character and everything, and that really comes second. The most important
Yeah.
part is this relationship, and that's why I genuinely loved it. Despite again that confusion, I'm blanking on her name. Let me look it up. But the actress that plays Nicolas Cage's wife was just great.
She
Sharon
was. Yeah.
Horgan. Sharon Horgan. She was fantastic. She was also another favorite part of mine. But of course, Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage just chef's kiss.
Yeah, there's an ongoing joke in this movie, which I don't want to spoil for anyone. I don't think that joke should be spoiled for anyone. We've seen the movie. We know what that joke is. We definitely know someone in the film post is gonna love that joke.
Yeah.
But honestly, it works so well, and their chemistry, their on-screen chemistry, it's great. honestly, like Pedro Pascal adds a sweetness to this character that you see when he interacts with Nicolas Cage. Like it literally looks like he wasn't acting; he was just in awe of working with Nicolas Cage, and you genuinely feel that, and it makes his character that much more likable. Even if, as Josie said in the second plot, there's maybe a reason why you have to look sideways with this character. It's
Mhm.
a whole thing, but just like with Nicolas Cage's films, like some of them you kind of just have to give in, go along for the action ride, and just, it's very much a yes and moment. Like,
Mhm.
yes, and I'm going along with this. Yes, and very improv.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah, which
And
is
the
why
romance,
the
yeah,
movie wouldn't have worked without the actors that we got.
yeah,
I
it's
think
perfectly casted.
I think that's its strongest part and also its weakest part because it clearly points out that the film does have its issues. But because of that casting, because of those dynamics, it actually makes something genuinely like a little treasure. It's a little treasure out
Yeah,
of 2022, and it's definitely up there in my top 10 for the year so far.
same. I don't know how long it'll stay because I got a lot of competition, but
So
it's
so
still
many good films, but for
so many
now
good
it's
films.
holding on.
It's holding on very strong. And I was gonna say I had a comment and I wanted to see what you thought of this. So I personally felt their bromance at times felt kind of childish, but it's wholesome. And
Mhm.
it felt like the adult versions of Luca and Alberto from Pixar's Luca, but
When
with the
they're
Peter
jumping
Pan complex.
yes, when they're jumping off the cliff, I'm like, "That's literally a
Yes.
shot from Luca."
Literally the same shot. And I'm just here like Pixar walked so Unbearable with a Massive Talent could run.
Yeah.
Worked for me. It's meta, it's hilarious. And I appreciate with a comedy, it doesn't have joke after joke after joke after joke after
Mhm.
joke after joke. It could have been too much. It lets the material breathe just enough that you're still along for the ride and it works in the film's favor. Granted, not every joke lands for
Yeah.
everyone. If you're a fan of the Easter eggs, the references, you're gonna get it and it's gonna be
Yeah.
working for you. That's the one thing I do agree with. That's a slight criticism. Um, for example, you have the obvious National Treasure references. You're gonna get those. But if you're not that in tune with certain films, you might just be like, "Oh, that is him." But maybe I
Mhm.
missed over because I don't know the complete, reference. But it's not a bad thing either because that means that the fans are really just gonna appreciate it that much more because it's very authentic to Cage.
Yeah. I think it's also the fact that it does play an overly exalted version of himself. It's not really Nicolas Cage, it's Nick Cage, and
Yeah,
it does give into celebrating him and his career and also kind of acknowledging that he did take a pause. He was there, but he wasn't really there as much as a lot of people loved to see him. And then, of
yeah.
course, with his recent role in Pig, which he acknowledges as one of his favorite roles that he's ever done, he's really coming back, not that he went
Not that he
anywhere.
went anywhere.
So, that's the best part of this film, but it is a different version of himself, of course, it is kind of
Yeah.
a caricature of him. So that's also
Yeah.
something to expect.
And it's definitely more egotistical, very much playing along the lines of how some people maybe in the past saw Nicolas Cage's antics. And I
Mhm,
very much think they channel into that with Nick Cage overall. Um, Another thing I wanted to talk about the action scenes.
mhm,
Now, are they like on a summer blockbuster level, Michael Bay style, whatever? No, I'm not gonna lie, they're not the best shot action scenes ever, but they get the job done. That's my other small nitpick is the action scenes could have been just a bit more exciting. The Cage fans, they'll get the references, they'll get the
mhm,
Easter eggs. But even I, for a moment, was like, you know what? I kind of wish that action scene was a little bit longer, maybe a little more, fighting choreography. Like for a moment, I was here thinking, oh, he's gonna go John Wick, like in that one scene towards the
yeah,
end. I thought he was gonna go full John Wick, and then it kind of like ends a little too quickly, and it's just like, I would have just left that as a nice little note on the
yeah,
script, being like, hey, make this a little longer just so
yeah,
you can really get the full effect of Cage, the action star, the comedian, the dramatic actor, the horror actor, just so you have all of those elements perfectly combined. And I do feel the action, it was just a little tame, but it's still
yeah.
enjoyable.
I also wish we had gotten more out of Ike Barinholtz and Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah, they were pretty underused. I was kind of surprised because
Yeah,
in the trailer, it kind of made it seem like they were the main supporting characters.
yeah, so that's
It's
why
mm,
Yeah. No, like, watching it the first time, that's what kinda turned me off for a moment because it switches it up and they're not as prominent as you thought they would be. So then the story starts going in a different direction, and I'm like, "Oh, wait, I thought we were doing this, but now we're doing this."
Yeah.
But Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal reel you in so easily.
Yeah, they'll keep you hooked. That's the part I appreciate, that their chemistry works so well that even if the story's not 100% perfect and it goes from Get Smart to bromance to something else real quick, they'll still keep you in being like, "Don't worry, you're gonna wanna keep watching what happens because 'cause we're just so great to watch." And they are. They really do the most with their roles and even go above and beyond for it. And I will say the cinematography for a lot of the scenes was actually really well done. It
Yeah.
looked beautiful.
It's a very visually pleasing film.
I if Tumblr were still as active as before, that movie would be all over Tumblr, that
Oh
one
god.
scene in the pool. A lot of people would just be like, "That's so mean." So, to conclude our review, because we've given you a pretty good overview of what to expect from this movie, the Nicolas Cage resurgence. It's back better than ever, but not that he went anywhere.
Exactly.
Not that he went anywhere. So, of course, we have to answer this quick question as the fans. Josie, how good is Pedro Pascal in this film for the Pedro Pascal nation? How quickly should they run to the theaters because of him?
Honestly, immediately, because of course I wanted to see this film because of Pedro Pascal, but also Nicolas Cage. Because I remember, I don't know if we talked about this, but it's just that whole thing where we grew up with Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
And now we have Pedro Pascal. So at least for me, like, I don't know, I used to see Nicolas Cage as such a prominent figure in my life because I would obsess over the National Treasure, especially. That's what I grew up with. And now Pedro Pascal is also like such an important part of our lives if we follow like The Mandalorian and all of that. And I mean, Pedro Pascal is also like a cinnamon roll of a human being. So seeing these two people together, it was just so delightful. Like a passing of the torch kind of thing. Because Pedro
Yeah.
Pascal is definitely going not taking the same roles as Nicolas Cage, but he's kind of eccentric and he's giving into comedy, but he's also taking on these serious roles. And it was nice seeing them act together. I hope Nicolas Cage was able to impart some wisdom on him because I definitely want to see Pedro Pascal have a very good career like Nicolas Cage. So if that is what you desire in life, definitely watch this film because they're both great. But our Pedrito did such a good job. The range,
Yeah.
he like had me hooked, and even like, of course, there is a twist in this film, but even if you might see it coming, you're still like, gasp, because he plays it so well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, for the Cage fan within me, I can guarantee you this film was made for Nicolas Cage fans by someone who very much seems like they are a real Nicolas Cage fan. There's no doubt about it. It's a lot of fun. It makes for a great trip to the multiplex. If you're a fan of him, you're going to get the references. You're going to enjoy how willing Nicolas Cage is to giving himself into the role. You can very much tell he was in love with the script and that he was very much into playing this caricature of himself. So fans of Nicolas Cage, you need to run to see this. Honestly, I would definitely say this is a theater worthy experience. And honestly, it's a great way to spend a Friday night. I could definitely see a group of friends going out, going to see this, having a blast, give in to the film, and you're going to be very rewarded with how much fun you have because it's an action, it's a comedy, it's a crime thriller, it's a spy movie. It has
Mhm.
everything in an ensemble cast to go along with it. Nicolas Cage, Pedro Pascal, Tiffany Haddish, Neil Patrick Harris, Ike Barinholtz, Paco Leon. You got everyone in here. This is a really great cast, and honestly, it's worth your time. So I definitely think
Absolutely.
this is Film Poser approved, Pedro Pascal
Yes.
agenda approved, and Nicolas Cage agenda approved. You got it all. So those are our thoughts on the unbearable weight of massive talent.
Also, si viven en Puerto Rico, esta película va a estar disponible en cines este fin de semana,
Mhm.
que tú sabes las fechas mejor que yo porque estás allá.
Abril 21, jueves, abril 21, este es cuando empieza en Puerto Rico, así que abril 21 no tienen excusa, tienen que llegarle al cine.
Ujú.
And in the United States, it starts April 22nd. It is on a Friday night. I mean,
Mhm.
you don't have plans this Friday. We just
This
made it
weekend
for
is
you.
booked. Nicolas Cage
It is
agenda.
booked. Get a comfy chair, get a great snack, and have a fun time. Have fun with it. So thank you so much for watching our video. If you like our content, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, leave us a comment. What is your favorite Nicolas Cage film? What are you expecting from this film? Let us know in the
Definitely.
comments. And of course, if you are a fan of Pedro Pascal, let us know what you think of his performance. And if you know the joke that he does, don't spoil it, please. It is a really great joke. Give it at least 2 weeks on Twitter so it can make it. And of course, don't forget to follow us on all the socials at Film Posers, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, the other one. We're
Everywhere.
always everywhere. Everywhere you can find Film Posers, follow us. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, we're all Film Posers. Bye.